Hello guys, so today I want to talk about the psychology of doing less. I want to talk about how we live in such a fast-paced world and how we live in a society where we always believe that doing the most gets you further than doing the least, where getting ahead of other people and doing more than others means that you have a higher probability of being successful. But in today's video, I just want to debunk that and just say that it's just completely false. Because the one who leads the race the quickest will always be the first one to burn out. You'll never see them at the end of the finish line because they can't maintain that. And so, what I'm trying to say is that I always believed that doing the most was always less beneficial than doing the least. And I learned this when I realized that, for example, when I was younger, obviously I'm still a bit young now, but when I was younger, I would play football every day. I would train every day in my back garden during school. I would play every day with my friends, and I was always training. And the reason why I always did that was because I'd always see online people saying things like, work hard every day, always work hard, 10 hours a day, train hard, eat this, 10 hours of sleep, do that, do this every day. And it was just like that all online. And when you're a kid, you're very easily manipulated. Every video you see, you will want to act upon it. You will want to be like, oh yes, this is me, this is what I do. And psychologically, when you think of the amount of work you do, it makes you think that you deserve the reward more than you actually do. And so from then, I would always work hard every day. I would always train every day. And in that moment, I was thinking, oh, I am guaranteed for success. I am guaranteed to be a professional footballer because I train every day and I work hard every day. And psychologically, that's what you would think. But look at where I turned up now, and obviously we're all different. I didn't end up making it in the end, but one thing I learned was that doing the least was always doing the most. I felt, performance wise, when I trained from like 3 to 4 times a week instead of 7 days a week or 5 to 6 days a week or whatever, I felt like I would play a lot better. I didn't feel as if I was always burnt out or felt like my performance was worse. And so I feel like our mind and our body are both showing different signs in terms of how hard we work. Because mentally, our minds never get tired. Your mind is working whilst you sleep. It's always running. So mentally, you always believe that you are capable of doing everything every day to the best of your abilities. But physically, it's not the same. And one of the things that you need to keep in mind is that how you think will always correlate to what you do. So if you always think you've got to work hard every day to achieve what you want, then the only way you'll achieve what you want is if you work hard every day, and it's just not the truth. Because social media is manipulative. You got those motivational speakers who tell you to work hard every day when it's not the truth. Because ultimately what they're probably trying to do is limit the competition because they provide some shitty advice. And what I'm trying to say is that you have to give your mind a rest. You have to realize that all you've got to do is do enough and to do it right. And that's literally the end of it. You do enough and do it right, because once you've done the bare minimum, you've not done extra work, you've done the amount of work you need to do to the best of your quality, you're done. You can go home, you can go watch a film, you can go listen to some music, you can go play some games. You don't need to do more work just because you've done enough. And I feel like most people don't really like to sort of act upon what I've just said, just because there will be times where you're resting and you will feel as if you should be working. You'll be like, oh, I'm just sat in bed watching a film, I could spend this time working on my goals or working on this. And because we always think like that due to social media, it's what makes us burn out the most. Because for me, when I first started writing, it was about 2 years ago when I first started writing, and I would just write articles on like Medium and whatnot because I'd really like it. And I was thinking, if I write every day, I'll be the best writer. I will just get so many followers, and that never happened. You know, I would write every day. I did over like 200 articles in the space of about 4 5 months, and the quality was all right. But the thing was that I never reached my goal, and before I could even reach it, I just burnt out because I was working every day. I just burnt out compared to what I do now, and I make it only about 3 a week. Not only do I feel like my articles are a lot more in depth, a lot more like smarter and more interesting, but also I feel as if I can do it forever. Because when you do things every day, you get burnt out of it quickly. You don't feel like doing it again because you're burnt out. And so I've also always just believed that in the times of during the times where you rest is the times where you come up with the best ideas, you come up with the best solutions. It's just those random moments, you know, when you're taking a shit on your rest day and you're just thinking, oh, what if I implement this in my business? You know, during the most randomest times is when you actually come up with the best solutions, the best ideas. And if you work every day, if you're always working every day, you're going to skip over some parts. You're going to forget things. You're not going to put in your best quality of work, and you're going to burn out before you can reach the end of your goal. So I think what you should understand from this video is that you need to accept the fact that it's okay to do enough, that you don't have to do a lot because you want a competitive advantage over other people. You don't have to do a lot so your mind feels as if you deserve what you need, because in the end you will always get what you deserve, and it's just a matter of time. You know, doing the most doesn't mean you get there closer, because someone who works 3 times a week could achieve that same goal you work 7 days a week to achieve, but quicker than you. You know, it's just all down to the quality of work you produce and the consistency you can provide. So always keep in mind that doing less is always way better than doing more. Thank you for watching.